the public hearings of the TRRC. In line with tradition, we invite Imam to lead us in prayer.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين وإن تستفتحوا فقد جاءكم الفتح نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر وسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Imam. Bishop Odiko.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Chairperson. Lord God Jehovah, Lord God Jehovah, you are the only holy and righteous and just God. We ask of your divine mercy that you look kindly upon the people of this nation. May your mercy fall mightily upon this land. We ask, Lord, that the ills that have been committed in this nation in the years past, that you yourself will remedy the situation by bringing about healing in the hearts of those families who have been hurt, by bringing about reconciliation to the whole nation of the Gambia, and by making reparation possible for those victims. We ask, Lord, that as we continue to sit and to bring out the truth of the things that have happened in this land, that you will grant the witnesses the courage to be able to come and stand, to be able by Holy Ghost power to say what they have done, and with remorse to ask for forgiveness and for mercy from the populace and from those whose family whom they have hurt. We continue to ask also that you will grant that the populace will exercise restraint and patience, so that the due process of law will take its course. For you are the only God of justice, and your justice will reign. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop. Before I hand over to the council, we want to make an apology to the people who are deaf and hard of hearing. They have given a strong complaint that they were not live streamed yesterday. They are going through technical problems, but I think they can access the sign language through GRCS, but not through QTV. We're sorry, we apologize. It's not our intention to exclude you, so please forgive us. The council.
Good morning, Madam Chairperson, commissioners, members of the audience. The witness is being ushered into the hearing room. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Singhateh. Welcome back to the TRRC. As we are about to begin a new day, I just wish to take this opportunity to once again remind you that under the laws of this country, it is a criminal offense to lie under oath. It is also an offense to provide false or misleading testimony to the TRRC. Would you confirm that?
Yes, sir.
And may I remind you that you are still under oath?
Yes, sir.
You confirm that you are still under oath?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. Singhateh, do you recall giving a statement to the TRRC?
Yes, I do.
If you see the statement, would you be able to recognize it?
Yes, sir.
Take a look at this document and let us know whether it is the statement that you provided.
Yes, sir, it's my statement.
Good. Ordinarily, I would request that each page be initialed to signify that at least the contents of that page have been confirmed by you. Would you like to do that now?
Absolutely.
Thank you. You just initial just that one copy, and we would admit that copy in evidence, and we'd use other copies for reference purposes only. Thank you. Mr. Singhate, you are satisfied that that document is your statement. You have initialed all the pages. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Could you kindly show it to the chairperson, please? Madam Chair, we would ask to put the statement in evidence. And if admitted, it should be 0090.
Okay, request granted.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Mr. Singhate, yesterday we covered two areas of alleged violations. That is the alleged torture of Mr. Omar Jallo and other PPP officials at Mile 2 prisons in 1994 or thereabout, and also the alleged unlawful detention and torture of security officers at Mile 2 prisons. These are the only two we have covered so far. Would you confirm that?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
That's right. And in those areas covered so far, in the O.J. Jallo case, he alleged that you were present there when they were being paraded and tortured to the enjoyment or to the delight of the AFPRC council members. You denied that.
Let me rectify that. I did tell the Commission that I was there briefly. I did not deny the fact that I was not there.
Yes, you said you were there briefly. Thereafter, you went to Jame and you reported.
Yes, sir.
The evidence we had suggested that council members, including yourself, stayed there and enjoyed their humiliation. You deny being there for the prolonged period of time.
Absolutely, sir.
Good. And with regards to the unlawful arrest and detention of the security officers, you deny playing any role in that arrest, those arrests and detention.
No, sir. I did not deny completely any role in that. What I did do was deny beating physically myself, touching any of the detainees. But I accepted my role in their arrest and detention collectively, but not personally. I didn't do it myself, but as a council. In fact, it's even in my statement, my acceptance.
You accept collective responsibility as a council.
Absolutely, sir.
You
Yes, sir.
deny direct responsibility as a participant in those arrests and detentions.
When you say direct, can you please qualify that?
A direct role would involve directing your subordinates to participate in the arrest, or you yourself participating in the arrest, or you yourself sitting down and agreeing that these arrests be carried out. That would be direct participation. It does not necessarily mean you are the person who would put the gun on the head of somebody and say, you are under arrest, go onto the truck. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, I don't believe that a gun was put to anyone's head. But
that is not the suggestion, Mr. Singhate.
Yes, no,
please.
I'm trying to answer your question,
No. We
sir.
should avoid, I have to set the parameters very early on today. We should avoid taking on side issues and making it into the big issue. I have explained to you quite clearly that the suggestion is not that you have put a gun on anybody's head and say go on the truck. I have made it quite clear. The suggestion is that you participated in this arrest through other direct means, either by ordering your subordinates or physically participating in it, being there. That is what I mean. So I don't want us to start with this approach of diverting attention from the main question onto a side issue, and then we spend all our time on that. That would not be helpful.
But
I'm sorry for interjecting, but I have to set this straight at the outset.
If you would allow me, your suggestion is well noted.
Thank you.
However, it implies that when they were arrested, a gun was put to their head. That is what I was trying to qualify.
It does not imply that,
Okay,
Mr.
sir,
Singhate.
we will move on. But what
Please
what I want to, this is why I asked you to qualify what direct involvement meant.
Okay, I put it this way. What was your role
So
in
let me answer. I'm still trying to answer your question.
I am rephrasing the question such that there would be clarity. What was your role in the arrest and detention of these security officers?
So I already gave you my answer yesterday. But what I would
Tell us again.
What I would like to state for the record, that prior to the decree, I did not have any direct role. But as soon as the decree was promulgated, then obviously by virtue of that decree, I had a direct role, whether I went or not. This is what I was trying to explain.
Are you serious?
Sir?
Are you serious?
So with
By that answer?
So with the decree of the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council that we all agreed to, that was passed and became law, as you mentioned yesterday, anybody who was detained under that decree, we have a direct responsibility for. You mentioned that yesterday.
That decree came ex post facto, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. But I did not.
Could you answer it just?
Yes, I said yes, it did.
Okay, good. Then allow me to ask my question. All right? So everything that happened prior to the decree, you washed your hands of it. Is that what you're suggesting?
No. What I'm suggesting, okay, you just asked a question. If you allow me to answer before you ask another question.
Okay, proceed.
Yes, sir. What I'm saying is that by virtue of the fact that I was part of those that debated the decree and it was passed by the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, I made myself responsible.
My question is,
yes.
Do you wash your hands of everything that has happened prior to that decree?
I just claimed liability. I said I'm responsible. I did not.
You said you are responsible by virtue of the decree.
Absolutely.
My question is, the decree came ex post facto. Do you also accept responsibility for things that happened prior to the promulgation of the decree?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you very much. So the decree itself merely formalized responsibility, doesn't it?
Yes, it did.
Good. So the question now is, apart from legal attribution of responsibility simply by dint of the decree, did you perform any other role in the arrest of these security officials?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. This is something we would have to come back to at a later stage. Right? So you deny participation in the arrest of the security officers?
As far as I can remember, I never arrested anyone personally.
Well, we cannot hide behind, I cannot
recall,
I cannot remember.
I am telling you that I did not.
You cannot be talking over me, Mr. Singhateh.
My apologies.
Thank you very much. We have to exercise decorum. I give you the chance to talk, you give me the chance to talk. Apart from denying participation in the arrest, you deny beating Mamad Cham, is that not correct?
That is correct, sir.
Even though Mamad Cham did say you assaulted him?
That is correct.
Even though there are 3 other witnesses who confirm that you assaulted Mamad Cham?
That is correct.
So, from the statements or the evidence of these 4 people, all of them confirming that you assaulted Mamad Cham, you want the commission to believe your side of the story, which is unsupported.
What I can do is offer my side. What the commission takes is entirely up to the commission.
I am asking you the question. Do you want the commission to believe your lone side of the story as against the evidence of these 4 individuals who were present?
Sir, the commission will believe what they want to believe. I can only give you my side of the story, sir.
Well, I put it to you that your side of the story is false. It is mainly intended to shield yourself from responsibility in view of clear evidence. What do you say to that?
I say that you are wrong.
Thank you very much, and the commission would determine whether I am right or whether I am wrong.
Well, sir,
yes.
It's not between me and you. I'm trying to present my evidence before the commission.
No, Mr. Singhateh, you said I am wrong. Yes, you personalized it. So I can only give you an answer dealing with that personalization of it. You could have simply said that that position is wrong. You need not have personalized it. But I put that aside. Let's proceed. With regards to Ibrahim Achongan as well, the evidence is that you attacked him, you hit him, just like the others. You also deny that.
Absolutely.
And there are witnesses who also corroborate the fact that you attacked Ibrahim Achongan and you beat him. You still deny that.
Absolutely, sir.
Do you wish the commission to believe your side of the story against the evidence of these other witnesses who were present and saw what was happening?
The commission will make a decision once they review everything in totality.
Very well. Of course, that is the process. So you want the commission to believe your side of the story?
I want the commission to take into consideration my testimony.
Well, I put it to you that that testimony is false. It's intended to shield yourself from responsibility. What do you say to that?
That position is wrong.
Thank you very much. And we move on again to RSM Jeng. RSM Jeng also claims that you attacked him and you hit him. His statement is also corroborated by other witnesses. You still deny that you did not touch him.
Absolutely, sir.
And in spite of the evidence of the other witnesses, you still deny that you didn't touch him.
Absolutely, I maintain my position.
Sirif Gomez also said you attacked him, you did not physically hit him, you went to him, you threatened him, and made him believe that your party was going to come back and it would be his turn. You also deny that.
I deny that. I did not attack Sheriff Gomez, and I did not speak to him.
Essentially, Mr. Singhate, you denied everything that happened at Mile 2 prison concerning you. The only thing you are prepared to admit is that you were simply there.
Sir, being simply there also takes responsibility and liability for everything that occurred.
Mr. Singhate, I am not talking about general responsibility. We are talking about direct responsibility. We are talking about individual criminal responsibility. Responsibility for your own actions, not responsibility for the actions of other people.
Yes, sir, I understand, but the way the question was put, I just want to emphasize that I am not running away from responsibility.
You are running away from direct responsibility.
What I am denying are the allegations that you have just mentioned seriatim, denying each and every one of those ones.
Well, this sounds like civil pleadings, confession and avoidance. I accept this little thing is so innocuous and I deny everything else. Well, that's an interesting. I don't think that is an approach that will fly. Mr. Singhate, from what we have seen so far, it looks like of all the people who went to Mile 2 on that fateful night, you are the only clean person.
Absolutely not, sir. I am not clean, and I'm not playing the angel or pretending to be clean.
Well, you are the person who was there. You never touched anybody.
Sir, as far as I can recall, neither did Sadibu Haidara, neither did Yankuba Ture, neither did Peter Singhate. So I'm not saying that.
And how about Sana Sabali?
I cannot recall seeing Sana Sabali physically beating, but Sana Sabali was giving the orders.
But you conveniently avoided mentioning his name.
Well, because he was in charge.
The evidence is that all of you council members brutalized these helpless inmates. You deny that?
No, sir, I do not deny that.
So you accept, therefore, that you council members brutalized these victims?
By virtue of the fact that we were there with our junior officers under our control, and these detainees were brutalized by them, we have responsibility, and I accept mine.
So you also accept, therefore, that members of your team, your orderlies, also participated in the beating?
Like I said yesterday, if they had done so, I take absolute and full responsibility
you see,
on
Mr.
their
Singhate,
behalf.
You are again watering down the issues.
No,
you are putting it as a condition. If the issue is, and the truth is, they actually participated in the brutalizing of the helpless prisoners.
Can I respond?
Please do.
There was no evidence given to me yesterday that any one of my own orderlies or soldiers under my command actually physically partook in that. So I am saying that if they did, I do accept that.
Well, I put it to you that the evidence is that all the orderlies joined in the beatings.
Well, if that is true, then I accept my full part.
You see, you are not helping the commission. You are present. You know what happened. Instead of telling the commission the truth, you are hiding behind conditions. If this is true, you are the repository of the information. You tell us.
Sir, unless you are trying to insinuate that the evidence before you that has not been thoroughly analyzed is the truth, if that is your position, then that means that there is no need for my testimony.
No, Mr. Singhate, it's the reverse. That is why you are being asked questions. You are telling the commission ifs, but you have the knowledge, you are present. You are, instead of telling us one way or another, you're giving us conditions. Did your men participate in the beating or not?
Sir, let me just contextualize this, please, if you would allow me a minute. You have been to Mile 2, you have seen the corridor and the size, and you can estimate the number of us that were there. It will be very difficult to exactly know who was beating at exactly what time. So definitely, I agree that I take full responsibility for my part. And even if those under me were at the back somewhere but kicking or assaulting, I take that responsibility.
Well, you're prepared to take responsibility,
yes,
without accepting whether or not your men actually participated in the meetings.
Absolutely.
Yes, but this is what I don't want. I want you to answer whether your men participated or not. If you don't know, tell us you don't know.
That is what I'm saying. It is not clear to me. I don't know, but even if they did, I do accept.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Here, we have this evidence of Mamad Cham.
Yes, sir.
But before that, Bach Samba Jallo, was he not in your team?
He was my driver, yes, sir.
Yes, and Mamad Cham said in his statement, in his evidence, that amongst those people who beat him was Bach Samba Jallo.
Okay, if that is the case, I take full responsibility for him. I do. I'm
that
not running
is the
away
evidence.
from that.
Are you disputing the evidence or are you not disputing the evidence?
I have just told you that...
Told me an if.
No, I said, since that is the case, I do accept responsibility for whatever Bach Samba Jallo did.
Okay, so we move on.
Thank you.
So apart from the actions of Bach Samba Jallo,
yes, sir.
You as a person,
yes, sir.
You did not touch anybody.
I think maybe for the 50th time, sir, no.
Let it be for the 100th time, Mr. Singhateh. I have to ask my questions, and I ask them the way I want. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes. So you did not touch anybody?
No, sir, I did not.
You did not point your gun at anybody?
No, sir, I did not.
Tell us what action you took at Mile 2 prisons during that period.
I participated in the procedure of, or in the process of going there to interrogate them. When they were taken out of the cells, they were beating. I stood by and I didn't intervene. I did not stop.
Did you ask questions?
No, we did not ask questions.
You did not say anything?
No, we did not. Nobody said anything.
You were a simple bystander?
I was not a bystander.
What were you?
I was excuse me. I was a full participant.
What did you participate in? Tell us what you did in participating in this process.
Everyone that was there participated and is equally culpable.
You are giving me a legal position.
No, sir.
Yes. You are giving me a legal position. What I want is facts. Tell me facts. Apart from standing by and watching, did you do anything else?
No, sir.
Perfect. That's the answer I wanted. So, for everything that happened at Mile 2, you did not do anything, and you want the commission to believe that?
Sir, I have given my testimony. The commission will believe what it will.
I put it to you, Mr. Singhateh, that again, this does not accord with the truth. It is intended to shield yourself from direct responsibility.
I disagree, sir.
Good. All right, let's proceed and talk about the November 11.
Yes, sir.
Yes. During your testimony, you went as far as talking about taking over the camp.
Yes, sir.
Could you remind us what happened, taking it from the point where you arrived close to the camp and some people had to go to the camp to find out what was going on? Tell us what happened.
Like I had said in my testimony yesterday, once we had disembarked from the vehicles, the troops were arranged in formation to attack the camp. I told Lieutenant Sabali at the time that he should allow me to go ahead with a small group to see what was going on inside the camp and then give feedback. It would be better than just storming the camp blindly. He allowed me to go, and as I can recall, I told the commission, I think I went with 2 other soldiers. One, I believe, was Lamin Senghor. We infiltrated the camp, and once we had made our way towards the guard room, but during the process of infiltrating, we had noticed that there were a lot of unusual movements. There were soldiers, more soldiers than the guards. They were armed, and I knew that there was definitely something going on. And by the time I reached around the guard room area, we were still hiding in the shadows. There was a soldier who left the guard room, and I grabbed him, subdued him, and I asked him what was going on, but he was too petrified to talk. Believing that he was not a participant in the ongoing unfoiling coup, I told him to walk in the opposite direction, just to leave. After that, before I could contact Sana Sabali to come by radio, because I had turned off my radio, we were supposed to be on radio silence, I heard gunshots towards the back gate of the camp. And after a few minutes, the camp was taken over and it was under our control.
And what happened during those gunshots?
Well, I was at my position. It was when Sana Sabali and others came towards the guard room that we met up. I was not one of those who stormed the camp. But there was no casualties as far as I can recall. In fact, there were no casualties, I believe, and the camp was taken.
Mr. Singhateh, statement. Let me refer you to your statement. Just a moment. This is what you've said in your statement. As I got to the guard room, para 27, take it from para 28. Let's see. Wait, hold a second. Just a moment. The statement you sent me, the electronic version, is different from the final version that you provided. But I highlighted the, yes, okay, let me read it out from para 31. Mr. Singhateh.
Yes, sir.
You recall the statement that you sent me electronically. I will read that out. And then I will read the version that you signed. We also have a record of your interview. And from all that, we would decipher what is the truth. And this is what you said in the version you sent me. And it says as follows. I went with 2 soldiers, I think one Lamin Senghor, and we infiltrated the back gate, having gained access through the fence. As we were passing the sentryman was concentrating on the activities going on in the camp. I could see more soldiers in the barracks as expected, and I knew something was amiss. As I got to the guard room, I could see a lot of in and out, and more activities than usual. There was a soldier who left the guard room and came out. I got out of the shadows and grabbed him and put him back in the cell. Well, maybe cell here is not correct. It should be shadows. But from the look of things, he doesn't look to be part of the coupist, and I asked him to work away to the opposite direction. No sooner I had released him and wanting to inform Sana Sabali of the situation, I had gunshots around the gunshots. I believe it was that juncture that Fafanyang was killed when Sana and his entourage stormed the barracks. That is what I have in the statement that you sent to me.
No, sir, what I have here is different, yes.
Yes, I noticed that it is different.
Yes.
Which one do you adopt?
Sir, I don't know about the electronic version, but the one that I had signed and then sent, and the one that has been just admitted into evidence, is the one I have here and is my testimony.
That is fine. The reason why I ask, Mr. Singhateh, is that it is an offense to provide false information to the TRRC.
Yes, sir.
All right. And we have recorded interviews with you. And if you provide false information in that recorded interview, it's also a crime. So, and that is why I ask this question, because what is contained in that document is taken from the recorded interview. And I want to give you the opportunity to state what is your position.
Sir, can you recall when you were leaving Abuja after taking my statement? Sorry, after the interview. We spoke for about 6 hours, and you told me that it would be transcribed and sent to you. Amend it as you wish, take whatever out and leave whatever in, and send me the signed copy of your statement. That is exactly what I did. I did do that.
Mr. Singhateh.
So if you invite me to look at the transcribed copy of what I said without giving me what I had said, and invite me to remove what I want and leave what I want, to polish it up, and then send you the signed copy. And then now you are telling me that I can be held criminally liable for misleading you because what I signed is different, a little bit different, or perhaps, in fact, in some cases different from what our conversation was. Then, sir, I find that highly unfair. You would have told me that that interview was what is going to be adopted and put in evidence, and then I would not have signed a statement.
Mr. Singhateh, I am not making any such insinuation. All I am telling you is, at the outset you were informed that it is a criminal offense to provide false testimony, false evidence or information to the TRRC. Didn't I do that?
Of course you did.
Exactly. So if in that interview you provide information which is patently false in view of the evidence you have given here, isn't that reason for anyone to go after you?
No, sir. You see, these events happened over about 25 years ago.
And your memory, your memory got fresher?
Well, you asked me to go back and look at things properly. You invited me to do that, which I did.
Yes, But that does not mean,
so if I do,
that does not give you a license to provide false information to the TRRC at the investigative stage, does it?
No, sir, I did. What I gave you was as I could recall.
At that time?
At the time.
Okay, and what you recall today is completely different?
No, sir.
All right. Okay, let's proceed, Mr. Singhateh.
Please let me explain before people think that, you know, there are different things coming in. Once you had asked me to go back and look at these things properly, I did. And obviously, upon reflection and realizing that perhaps my memory had needed to be jogged in certain areas, I gave you the statement that I felt was most accurate. If after 25 years I do not have a full recollection of everything that happened and misconstrued something or remember things in a different light, so really I am just human. But it has not been my intention to mislead. And when you came to Abuja, I volunteered myself, I came voluntarily, we had a conversation of over 6 hours, and there was no intention to mislead. The only intention was to cooperate to get to the truth.
Mr. Singhateh, what has happened is you gave us a statement. Afterwards, you had the other testimonies, and you went and tweaked your first statement to bring it into accordance with the other statements. But this is not an issue for now. If the Commission chooses to proceed with you on the suggestion or the allegation that you misled the Commission, then you would have to deal with that at that stage. Nobody is suggesting that that is going to happen. What I did simply was to bring out the two to you and make you decide which one you wish to adopt. Clearly, you have adopted what is contained in the signed statement. Let us move on.
No, but please, before we move on, when you told me that there is electronic copy, there is this copy, and there is the interview, and that I could be, and that it is a criminal offense to mislead, you have given me the impression that that is the line that you are going to take, that you are going to use these things, despite the fact that you invited me to reflect and then come up with the proper facts, that now you are going to move against me by virtue of the fact of or believing that I had intentionally misled this commission, sir.
At no time were you given the opportunity or the latitude to provide false information.
Not false information.
Okay, let's leave this matter and we move forward. If at all the commission decides to proceed with you, right, on a charge of misleading the commission, then we would discuss that issue. There is no suggestion that is going to happen. All I simply did was give you an opportunity to adopt one of the two stories that you have provided. Clearly, you have adopted this one, so let's move on.
Okay, sir.
So tell us what happened after the gunfire started.
Like I informed you, in fact, we did not go that far. Are we starting where we left off yesterday, or are we still going over what I said yesterday?
You just said that you went into the camp. Sana Sabali came in. Mm-hmm. There was gunfire. Sana Sabali came in. Later on, you meet somewhere in the camp. There was no casualty. That's what you said?
Yes, sir.
Good. Proceed from there.
Yes, sir. From there, as what I believe now is that we were in the guard room. We took over the guard room. The sentries, I believed, were also replaced by troops that we had come along with that were loyal to the government. And from there, as far as I can recall, some information came in that Basiru Barrow had arrived or was about to arrive, something of the sort.
And then what happened?
Well, there was a group that was designated to arrest him.
Who headed that group?
I cannot recall exactly who headed the group, but I know there was a group, some people, some soldiers who were given an order to arrest him.
Was it Peter Singhateh?
I cannot recall, but it is possible that it was him.
Was it him or was it not him?
Sir, I cannot recall who was directly given the order to do so.
You, again, hiding behind I cannot recall when it comes to an allegation that hits home.
Sir, after 25 years, if I cannot remember everything, I am just human. I am trying my best to recount the events as I can recall.
The evidence we have is that it was Peter Singhateh.
Well, sir, if it was Peter Singhateh, then so be it. It's not me.
Still, you are not answering questions directly. You giving us conditional answers. You are the person who was present. Tell us what was the situation. Was it Peter Singhateh or was it not Peter Singhateh?
I cannot recall.
All right, let us move on. And then a group was deployed.
Yes, sir.
To do the arresting, and then what happened?
Basiru Barrow was captured and he was beaten. Beaten, I believe, by the soldiers who captured him.
Including your own subordinates?
They were all my subordinates. Everyone who is junior to me is a subordinate to me.
Including those who are directly under your command?
I am not sure whether people, soldiers directly under my command were designated in that group. I know that a group of soldiers were designated to arrest Basiru Barrow upon his entrance. That one I know, and I can confirm.
Bach Samba Jallo was somebody who worked directly under you?
Yes, sir.
We had Mafuji Sonko.
Yes, sir.
Who said that when Basiru Barrow arrived and they jumped onto him, soldiers including Bach Samba Jallo were those who beat him.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Counsel. Is this Mafuji Sonko not the same one who drove the other coupists from Fajara Barracks to Yundum Barracks?
Yes.
But then he could not have known because they arrived afterwards. And so that evidence, I don't believe is, should hold weight because he was not there.
The beating did not just end when Basiru Barrow arrived.
But we are talking about his arrival.
I am talking about the beating of Basiru Barrow during that whole period, up to the time he was in the cells. That is what I'm talking about.
Well, when he was in the cells, he was not beaten. He was beaten before he entered the cells. And many soldiers participated in that beating.
So you deny that Bach Samba Jallo participated in that beating?
No, I am not denying that.
Okay. How about the other group that came?
Yes. Subsequently, after realizing that there were more coupists at Fajara Barracks, we had taken a decision to go and attack Fajara Barracks as well.
Yes, go ahead.
So we moved towards the front gate and asked somebody to go behind, to go and alert the drivers to collect our vehicles so that we could depart. As we were by the front gate, there was a convoy that arrived. And as soon as that convoy arrived, they jumped out of the vehicles and there was an exchange of fire.
Proceed.
Yes, sir. After the exchange of fire, some were captured and some escaped. I believe Dotfal was one of those who were captured.
And did he die from that crossfire or he did not? Well, the fact that he was captured would suggest that he did not die.
Absolutely, sir.
Good. And what happened to him?
He was taken along with Basiru Barrow, put in a truck, and we proceeded to Fajara Barracks.
Was he beaten?
Yes, sir, he was.
And did your men participate in the beating?
It's possible that they did, because they were beaten by generally by all of our soldiers. So I would not deny. I would not deny that fact.
Did you do anything to stop that beating?
No, sir, I did not.
And you know that that beating was unlawful?
Yes, sir, it was. But I would like to contextualize. If you would allow me, sir. I am on the hot seat.
Mr. Singhate.
Yes, sir.
The question is whether that beating was lawful or it was unlawful. And answer the question is a simple yes or no answer.
Yes, sir, but with your indulgence.
Mr. Singhate, we'd just be wasting time on this.
No, sir, we would not be wasting time.
Give us the context.
Absolutely.
Okay, first answer the question.
Yes,
was
sir.
it lawful or was it unlawful?
Once again, yes, sir, I agree it was unlawful. Yes. The context was that there was so much anger that had already been built up that it was vented on those who were captured.
And that makes it even worse, doesn't it?
If you would allow me.
But I have to ask the questions, Mr. Singhate.
Yes,
if you want to testify and not be asked questions, then go out and write a statement and just send it and not appear. Sir, questions would have to be asked.
Barely 20 minutes ago, you told me that we should not talk over each other.
Yes, but I have to conduct the proceedings.
Now
I stopped you
over me.
I stopped you to continue to guide the proceedings. I cannot just give you the free range where you can just talk about anything you wish to talk about. That's not the purpose of this. You have to answer the questions and then we move on. Otherwise, we'll be here forever.
I was talking about the beating of Lieutenant Dotfal.
You said,
yes, sir,
that the beating was out of anger. And I asked the question, doesn't that make it even worse?
I cannot confirm that it makes it even worse. But remember, these people wanted to kill us. They wanted to kill our families.
So they had to be tortured?
No, they did not have to be tortured. But
and the action that was meted out on them was unlawful?
I agree.
And you have responsibility for that?
I agree, sir.
Good. So let us move on. How about those that were captured together with Dotfal?
I cannot recall exactly how many were captured at that point, but I do know that subsequently some arrests were made and they were kept in the cells.
Ablai J. Dabo, do you recall him?
I don't believe so.
How about you? But you do recall Mafuji?
Mafuji Sonko, yes.
Yes. Was he also beaten when he was captured?
Yes, I believe that all of those that were captured were beaten. That is what I believe.
And according to him, those that beat him included your driver, but he called him Samba Bach.
So I take full responsibility for that.
And tell us the truth, Mr. Singhate.
Yes, sir.
The officers,
yes, sir,
who commanded that operation,
yes,
yourself sir, including, you countenanced the torture of these captured soldiers?
No, sir. It was not countenanced. It was spontaneous.
It was spontaneous for Barrow, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Barrow was arrested before Dotfal, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it was also spontaneous for Barrow, for Dotfal, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it was spontaneous for Mafuji?
Yes, sir.
It was spontaneous for Ablai J. Dabo?
Absolutely.
So from the first instance, it was spontaneous, you did not do anything about it?
Yes, sir.
And the second time too, it was spontaneous, you did nothing about it?
Sir, if you will allow me to explain. No, because it did not happen in sequence. It's not like Dotfal was brought beaten, and then somebody else was brought and beaten. But as they were arrested, they were beaten.
But these people did not arrive together.
Dotfal and Mafuji and the others arrived. It's different for Basiru Barrow. He was beaten first and kept in the cells. After we captured the others, they were also beaten.
But what I am trying to drive at, Mr. Singhate,
yes, sir,
is if you did not countenance it, you would have stopped it from the first instance. The fact that you allowed it to happen again and again means that you countenanced it.
No, sir, it was not an order that whoever you capture beat. It was not taken into consideration like that.
I did not say that you ordered the beating. What I said is you countenanced the beating. You saw the beating going on, and none of you did anything to stop it.
Quite true.
So you countenanced it.
Well, okay, sir, if you want to put it in that way, I agree, we countenanced it because we allowed it to happen.
Exactly, and
yes,
that is what countenance means.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So let us move on. These people were arrested. They were beaten. What happened next?
They were kept in the cells. I believe it was Dotfal and Basiru Baro that were put on the truck and then taken along with us towards Fajara Barracks.
And then?
Well, I am not sure whether they were actually taken to Mile 2, but I know they were kept somewhere because after we finished at Fajara Barracks, they were brought to Fajara Barracks and then they were executed.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. You just asked what happened to them, and I explained.
Yes, you were saying that
yes.
You don't know whether they were taken to
Mile 2.
Mile 2,
yes.
Or you went straight away to Fajara
exactly.
Barracks.
Yeah.
Proceed with your statement.
Yes. So we proceeded to Fajara Barracks, and we also attacked Fajara Barracks. We were divided into 3 groups. One was led by Captain Sanasabali, one was led by myself, and one was led by, I believe, Babukar Jatta. There was Babukar Jatta, Yankuba Ture, and Peter Singhateh in that group.
Okay. So the evidence we have
yes, sir.
From 4 different witnesses is that these people who were arrested were sent to Mile 2 prisons. But they were later brought to Fajara Barracks. Do you accept that as true?
It is quite possible that that happened. But like I said, something that happened 25 years ago, everyone would have a little bit, slightly different story. But what I'm not trying to deny are the actual facts of the violations that I am being accused of. This is what I'm trying to, to come to.
Let's just stick to the facts for the moment. We have Mahfuji Sonko who said they were taken to Mile 2 prison at the remand wing. We have Abdullah J. Dabo who also said they were taken to Mile 2 prisons. We have Jibril Seka. Perhaps I should just read out from his statement. And Sanasabali also confirmed that. But let me read out that of Jibril Seka. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. Jibril Seka, in his statement, said, when I arrived at work, I was informed that a group of military officers were brought in and kept at the remand wing. I was told that they were seriously tortured nearly to death. Among those that were brought in was Basiru Baro, along with several others. What do you say to that?
No, sir, if those who, hence, let me stop using if because you don't like that. Hence, they are the ones who said they were taken. I cannot deny that. So I would agree that if they all said that they were taken to Mile 2, I didn't go with them to Mile 2. So then I agree that they were in Mile 2.
Do you know a person called Sisawa Fati?
Yes, sir, I do.
What work did he perform in November of 1994?
He was at the State Guard, I believe, at that time.
Did he work with you at any point in time?
Only before July 22nd, 1994, we were in the same company.
But was he close to you?
Sisawa Fati was just like every other soldier in my company. I treat my soldiers equally.
He told the commission that he was the person who went to Mile 2 to fetch the prisoners, and he brought them in a truck. What do you say to that?
Well, if that is his testimony, I cannot deny that. What I do know is
it's not a testimony, it's a statement.
Well, I cannot deny his statement because what I do know is that they were brought, but I don't know exactly by who. But I can confirm that they were brought to us to Fajara Barracks.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Proceed then.
Yes, sir. From where?
When you arrived Fajara Barracks, what happened?
Okay.
You were divided into three companies,
Yes, sir. Yes,
three
sir.
groups, one led by you, one led by Sana Sabali, and one led by Babukar Jata, and he was together with Yankuba Ture and Peter Singhateh.
Absolutely. Babukar Jata's group went through the training school. And they entered the camp first, and from where we were, we could hear shots being fired. There was an exchange of fire. Myself and Sana Sabali entered through the same place at the back gate towards the Bakau mini stadium, or the Bakau football field.
Were there any casualties in the exchange of fire?
Not to my knowledge.
You had nobody say that people were killed during that exchange of fire?
Not to my knowledge, sir. No.
Proceed, please. What happened after you entered the camp?
Yes, sir. Then Sana Sabali proceeded with his group towards the field to cross towards the guard room. I branched right between some administrative buildings and what they call corporal line. It's a junior NCO accommodation. It's a junior NCO accommodation. It's a story building, and then we took fire from the story building. From there, we returned fire. The firing stopped, and we proceeded towards the old mosque. As we approached the old mosque, we came under fire again. We returned fire, and we captured the soldiers who were firing at us from the old mosque. Once we captured them, we knew that we still had our objective of taking the camp. They were junior officers. We disarmed them and then let them go. We proceeded towards the guard room, but prior to that, we also took fire from the left, and we dashed down, but I could hear somebody shouting faintly, "Friendly fire, friendly fire." And apparently it was Sana Sabali's group that were firing on us, thinking that it was that we were some of the coupists that were retreating. Now, once that firing stopped, they realized that they were firing on us. I'm sure they must have heard some of the soldiers to my extreme left shouting friendly fire, and they stopped. We converged, and then we proceeded towards the guard room. Prior to arriving to the guard room, there was somebody around the gate who was also firing at us from his position. So we returned fire, and then we proceeded, took the guard room, and we went to inspect that position by the gate. When we got close, I could see somebody move. The person got up with his rifle, and I asked him to halt. He didn't comply. I shouted it again. He didn't comply, and I opened fire. But
Did you hit him?
Yes, sir, I hit him.
And who was that?
I cannot recall his name, but
Did he survive, or did he die?
No, he's alive. He was hit in the buttocks. Mm-hmm. I didn't shoot to kill. I shot a warning shot into the sandbags, and one of the rounds, or an empty case, was hit by a round, and it entered his buttocks. So when we got hold of him, I asked him, "But do you want to kill yourself?" When I asked halt, you should have dropped your rifle and stayed in one place. But he was also petrified.
And you can't remember the person's name?
No,
somebody you shot at the buttocks?
Why would I remember the name? I can recall his face, but I cannot recall. I cannot recall the name. But he's around. I used to see him at State House after a while. But he is alive. He did not die on that day, because even before we left the camp, I went to visit him. I went to see how he was doing, and he was doing okay. And I apologized to him, and I told him, look, you know, if under such circumstances, if you are surrendering, throw down your rifle and raise your hands.
How many times have you shot at a person and injured the person?
And injured the person. Can we proceed with this? Because I know we are coming to Alaji Kebe, but this is not...
I just answer the question, Mr. Singhateh.
But can we take things seriatim so
Mr. Singhateh,
yes,
I conduct my case.
Absolutely,
Please
sir.
Respect that and answer the question.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I take full responsibility for the shooting of Alaji Kebe. It was my
Mr.
fault.
Singhateh,
I'm explaining.
Please answer the question you have been asked.
Yes, sir.
How many people have you shot and injured?
Well, one. I shot one and injured him.
And who is that person?
That is the person that I have just explained.
So throughout your career, you shot only one person and injured him?
Sir, it's not usual for you to shoot people and injure them. I have shot at people, at many people. And I don't believe that during the exchange of fire that there were any other casualties. Yes, sir.
I am saying,
yes, sir,
throughout your military career, it's only one person you have ever shot and injured.
Yes, I believe so.
And this is a person who worked with you in the army?
Yes, sir.
And you cannot even remember his name. Isn't that strange?
Sir, I cannot recall the name of all of the soldiers.
Yes, but this is only one person you in your life.
So I should remember his name.
But isn't that seminal? Isn't that so important that you cannot forget the person's name?
What was important was that he was okay. And once he was okay,
and
then
who that person is important?
No, I know who he is. I just cannot recall the name, sir.
That is really strange, Mr. Singhateh.
But, sir, no, not at all.
This is very strange. But let's proceed. What happened after that?
Okay. Well, just for the record, the soldier never served under me or with me. And so, obviously, I do not know him personally, and therefore, I cannot know his name. But after that, after we had taken the guard room, I recall being informed that there was some movement in one of the offices.
Sorry, excuse me, Mr. Singhateh. Proceed. Sorry about that.
Yes, I was informed that there was a movement in one of the offices that the troops had, they were trying to clear the admin building. Because I believe as we were coming in, there were some shots that they took from the office blocks. And as they were trying to clear, they realized that there was somebody still inside. They realized that there was somebody still inside the offices. Sorry, one of the offices. And so I went to the office. I shouted for the person to drop his weapon and come out with his hands up. About 3 times, he did not comply. And so, according to our army drills, as we are taught how to clear rooms in a combat situation, I threw a grenade inside and then followed the grenade after it exploded and cleared the room. But I want to point out that what we are taught is that you lob the grenade into the position where the suspected enemies are. Once it explodes, before they can react, because if they are not dead, they will be dazed, you move in and you clear the room, you shoot the room, you shoot anything that moves. This is what we are taught. This is how you clear rooms in a built-up area. So, knowing that he was in the left-hand corner of the office, I rolled the grenade into the right-hand corner. It exploded. I went in personally. I didn't want to send anybody. I gripped the man and brought him out. Now, this one was Bunja Dabo, and he's still walking and alive.
There are no casualties?
No, no, sir. It was just Bunja Dabo.
Okay. And what happened after that?
Well, we secured him, and he was detained.
Yes, proceed.
I cannot recall whether he was one of those who were subsequently charged and found guilty of treason, but I know he was arrested and detained for his role in the November 11th coup.
And what happened after that?
Well, after that, we went about securing the entire camp. It was cleared. It was almost daybreak. And then I believe Lieutenant Sana Sabali sent for the prisoners to be brought.
Proceed, please.
Yes, sir. When the prisoners were brought, they were lined up, and then two of them were shot dead.
By who?
By the soldiers that were ordered to shoot them.
How about the council members?
Council members did not shoot, but I can recall that they were shot. Two of them died, and the others fled.
Okay. You agree
Yes,
that
sir.
that was an execution?
Yes, sir, I do, sir.
You agree that it was unlawful?
I agree it was unlawful. It should not have happened.
And this is what Sana Sabali had to say.
Yes, sir.
About what happened. He says, after capturing Fajara barracks, he was asked, you brought the soldiers from mile 2 and paraded them at the field. He answered, correct. And you targeted the ringleaders for execution, that is Dotfal and Basiru Baro. And he answered, correct. And under your order, members of the council and the soldiers behind you opened fire at these individuals and they died. He answered, correct. So yourself and the council and the members of the council are fully responsible for these killings. He said, very bravely, I am responsible since I was the commander on the ground. He also accepted that council members fired at those victims. What do you say?
Well, first of all, I would like to state that I stand by my commander. He was my commander on that day, and I stand by him. Secondly, I would like to state that we are responsible for the killings.
Did you fire at those victims?
Thirdly, there was no need for us to directly fire.
I am not asking about a need. I am asking whether you fired.
No, I did not fire directly at them.
Well, your commander said you fired. He said all council members fired.
If my commander said that, I know, I trust him, I followed him, and I stand by him. But I can assure you, I did not shoot any of those people. And so let me explain. I mean, can
Mr. Singhateh, let's just proceed.
Yeah,
you have had your chance. You have answered.
No, I need to put this into context.
I will give you another chance. But
Yes,
if
sir.
you give us an explanation that is not directly relevant to the issue, next time I would not just give you the chance. Because I don't want us to waste
I want
time.
to explain that.
Okay, explain. Go ahead.
Yes. It was not only, as you had put it, it's not only the ringleaders that were targeted. Everyone in the line was targeted.
But my question was directed
Yes, sir.
to those two who were shot.
Yes, sir.
Did you participate in the shooting or did you not?
I was there, I was in the line, but I didn't shoot.
Well, Esa Mendy,
Yes, sir.
he too testified before the commission. And he said that you guys were on an extended line, and after you guys were on an extended line, and Sana ordered for us to shoot. I asked him, and what happened? He said, we responded, shoot. As I asked him, all of you shot at the captured soldiers? He said, yes. He too is lying?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I did not shoot. It would have been very difficult for him to know exactly who shot. Not everybody opened fire.
Okay. Well, isn't it convenient, Mr. Singhateh, to stand here and say, oh, others fired, but I did not fire?
Sir, let me make it absolutely clear. Whether I fired and killed anybody or not, to me, is irrelevant. My participation is full, and I take full responsibility for my actions as if my bullets had killed these two officers.
Okay, Mr. Singhateh.
But you know, you want the truth.
Just hear me out.
You want the truth. I am trying to give you the truth.
Yes, and we will get to the truth because the Commission has the capacity to assess whether your statements are true or they are false. So the Commission would make its conclusions on that. It is one thing, Mr. Singhateh, to just accept collective responsibility or indirect responsibility as a commander. But what I am asking for is your role as a direct participant. Did you shoot at those victims?
I did not open fire in that line.
Isn't it convenient, Mr. Singhateh, that whenever there is an accusation against you, you point to other people as responsible and you stay away cleanly from it as if you never did anything? Isn't that convenient?
No, sir, it is not convenient. I was there, they were my troops, and I take full responsibility.
At Mile 2 prison, you were there, these were my men, they beat them up, I am responsible, I did not do it.
Sir, I am an officer. When I have men to do the job, there's no need for me to go overboard and do it.
The thing is, the accusation is that you did. But what you're doing is you accept general responsibility as a commander, but you deflect your own action to somebody else. Sir, that's what you're doing, isn't it?
So you are actually saying that I did so?
I am saying that the evidence says you did so.
You were saying that the testimonies before the court, before this commission suggests that I had and that I did so.
Yes, and that is the evidence, Mr. Singhateh. And that is what you're being confronted with.
Yes, sir. Well, of course, I know you will not allow me to explain any further, but if I had wanted to shoot, I would have shot.
Like you did, as suggested by the witnesses who were present.
Like I did, that is what you are saying.
As suggested by the witnesses who were present.
Not as they suggested.
So you did not shoot?
I did not shoot, sir.
Okay. You see, what I am doing, Mr. Singhateh, is to show your strategy. The confession and the avoidance. Oh, we did it, but it was them. I am only responsible because I was there.
No.
And that definitely is intended to shield yourself from responsibility. You are not a Sana Sabali who is brave enough to come out and accept what he did, are you?
Sir, if I wanted nobody that day would have escaped.
Well,
no, please.
But I have to ask a question.
As a marksman, I hold the record of sharpshooting up till today in the JNA.
Yes, that is a credit to you.
Even those that were running, they escaped because we allowed.
Did you really?
Yes, we allowed, because if there was an intention to kill any of them, at 300 meters, I could easily hit any of them, much more from 10 to 15 meters.
But Mr. Singhateh,
and them running in a straight line. It would not have been.
Soldiers were sent to chase after them.
No, sir.
That did not happen?
No, not that they were sent. Once they ran, so some soldiers ran after. It's not like they were sent, quickly go and get them. Okay. Some of the soldiers chased after them on their own. They ran and then they were chased.
Sana Sabali,
Yes,
in
sir.
his testimony, said he sent Njai Ponkal to chase after these guys with Tumbul Tamba. That's a lie?
What I can recall is that as soon as these people took off, a couple of soldiers also took off after them to capture them.
But here you are saying that there was no intention to really there was no intention to catch these guys. You allowed them to escape.
No intention to kill them, no intention to shoot them, because if there was, even before they reached the edge of the end of the field, even before they reached half of the field, they would have been shot.
But how about those two who were set aside and executed? Was there an intention to kill them?
Of course there was.
But this is precisely the point we are focused at.
Yes.
Did you participate in that killing? The evidence is that you did.
I participated, yes.
Did you fire your weapon?
I did not fire my weapon.
Okay, so let's move on.
There was no need for me to fire my weapon.
Well, the commission would decide that. There are witnesses who said you fired your weapon. Your commander said you fired. Esa Mendy said you fired. JCB Mendy, he said all of those who were there fired. You still deny that?
I still deny that I discharged my weapon at Basiru Barrow and Dotfal on that day.
How about
those
soldiers who were under your command?
Everyone was lined up. And when you're in a line and AK-47s are firing, you cannot tell exactly who is discharging at the same time.
Okay. So
what I can assure you is that the majority did fire.
But in any case,
yes, sir.
As at the time you left State House,
yes, sir.
Your common plan,
yes, sir.
The plan you agreed with Yaya Jammeh and all council members was to take no prisoners, correct?
Absolutely.
And that was the plan that was implemented at Yundum Barracks, at Fajara Barracks.
Absolutely, sir.
You executed these people in cold blood just on the basis of that common plan to take no prisoners.
Absolutely.
That is a crime.
I agree, sir.
You are responsible for that crime.
I am responsible, sir. I agree.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we can take a break.
Thank you. We take a short break. We come back at midday. Thank you.
Okay.